one of the things that we know for sure is that when people were brought to the country as slaves, their personal religious practices and beliefs were taken away. And I think a lot of people like me are rediscovering like what could have been. There's still like the fingers of the past that are reaching out to say, like, don't forget our story.
Welcome Under the Moon Gate, my secret garden to help you unlock your intuitive gifts. I'm Erin Bagwell, an intuitive medium, garden witch, and documentary filmmaker. I'm sharing stories, interviews, and lessons from beyond the veil to inspire us to find the magic within. Thank you for stepping through the gate and joining me in the garden. Oh, and what a beautiful garden day it is today. I snuck out this morning. I got my iced coffee. I went out. I have a new little bench that is behind the moon gate, and I sat under the canopy of trees and just hung out with the squirrels and watched everything kind of float by. And gosh, it's just been really, really beautiful weather here in Buffalo. And it's been hot. It's definitely had its hot days, but I've just been trying to savor the greenery, the florals that are coming through. And I keep promising a garden tour, which I'm definitely going to do. I think maybe next week before I leave for my trip to New York, I will get the camera out while everything is in bloom, and I will give you guys a proper garden tour. So if you're a part of my Substack community, keep your eyes peeled for that because that video will be coming. And if you are listening to this podcast via, Apple or Spotify, just a quick reminder that I am also a writer and a blogger, and I release new articles every week about how to unlock your intuition, my favorite messages that I get from spirit when I'm with clients, or any aha moments I've unlocked on my spiritual journey. So if you're interested in getting, more from me, join me under the moongate.substack.com. I have a lot of fun things that go on there. We've got magic lessons. I do readings for the collective, all kinds of things. So I am so excited today because we're taking a little bit of a detour. We're doing kind of a creative episode where I'm going to be reading my friend Alrinthea Carter, her tarot spread for the year ahead. Now, this is a really incredible practice to do really at any time of the year. And we actually did it on May 1st, the first day of spring, which was really exciting. And we pulled 12 cards for Alrinthea. And I love this practice because it really explores the ebbs and flows of the year and gives me an opportunity to really kind of understand and intuitively read the tarot. So I didn't really know this the first couple of years that I was reading it, but I get a lot of messages from spirit through the visuals. I mentioned this in the podcast, but I could pick the same card 10 times in a row for 10 different clients and read it 10 different ways. I definitely use the parameters of the suits and the minor and major arcanas, but to be honest, the way that I read tarot is intuitively. And so I really wanted a chance to walk through what a reading looked like and felt like, and to share that with you. And maybe encourage some of you to get out your own tarot deck and pull your own 12 cards. And so I'm so honored to have this conversation with Alrinthea. She is an Emmy nominated writer. She has written for the Black Lady Sketch Show, Yo Gabba Gabba. She's an improviser. She's a comedian. I am so incredibly lucky. She's actually in my book club, so I interact with her quite often, in my Instagram DMs with my book club. And we're also part of Chelsea Devantez's writing group. So I'm privy to some of the extraordinary things she's writing and working on. And honestly, I think she's just like a beautiful soul, a beautiful dreamer, a beautiful creative. She really has kind of that thing that I think all artists want, which is drive. Everyone can have a dream, but not everybody can go for it. And I think what I really admire about Alrinthea is that she's willing to move to LA to make her dreams come true. She's willing to put in the work to write what she wants to write. And so I'm so deeply inspired by her, and I'm so excited to share this tarot spread for the year ahead. I hope you guys enjoy. And if you're joining me on Substack, please leave a comment below. I know the hot new thing is that we put like a paywall over our comments on Substack, but I'm not doing that. I want to I want to hear from you if you're listening to the episode. So I would love to know which kind of tidbits in the cards really resonated, what messages kind of rang true. I mean, I always say, the messages for one of us are really part of this collective messaging. So, don't be thrown that this is Alrinthea's reading. I think there's really something in here for everyone. I learned a lot pulling these cards, and I learned a lot editing the episode and listening back and learning. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time under the moon gate. Okay, so you feel like you're waiting.
Feel like I'm waiting, but I feel like I guess different from before. Like I feel like I know I'm supposed to be waiting. You know what I mean? Like,
Ooh, interesting.
yeah. Like I think there's like a period where nothing is happening and you blame it on yourself or you blame it on
Yes,
the world or the universe or whatever.
the
Because you
president,
don't know. Yeah.
whoever,
The government,
whoever's available.
the people are supposed to take care of us.
Yeah.
Right. You kind of you feel like you're kind of out the space a little bit, but now I feel like I'm driving the rocket that's in
Ooh.
space, you
Okay.
know?
Okay, Katy Perry. Before we dive in, can I explain to you like what I'm thinking for this strange
Yeah.
episode? So I think I feel so invested in you because you're such a dreamer like me, and you're
Oh,
in LA and you're going for it, and you've had like that first chapter of success, and now you're kind of looking for the next thing. And so I was thinking it might be cool to do kind of a live tarot reading, essentially, where I'm going to read. I was thinking we'd do a year ahead spread where we
okay.
pull 12 cards for the 12 months of the year. And then I will kind of intuitively feel into the cards of what is coming for the year ahead. So it's kind of a beautiful celebration for a birthday, but actually, May 1st is Beltane, which is the witches' holiday. It's the new year
Oh,
today. So today is
oh
the
wow.
first, yes, today is the first calendar year of the witch.
I did not know that.
So here,
I didn't know there was like a separate like a calendar.
yes,
I mean, it makes sense.
we've
But
got our
yeah.
own calendar based on, really agriculture. The spring
Hmm.
is the beginning. It's the
Yes.
start of the spring. It's the start of like the sowing season. And so I think
Right.
it's kind of serendipitous that we've have randomly met today of all days.
I love that.
Well, let's get into it. Do you have any questions for me before we start?
Um, no, like I think I've been this morning making sure to open my mind
Ooh,
and my heart
I appreciate that.
to receive whatever is out there. I think that's part of this whole waiting season that I'm in. Like I think I'm just kind of waiting for further instructions, I guess. So
Gotcha. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle your deck here.
okay.
And have you ever gotten a tarot reading before?
I have. I
Okay.
have. Like the last one was in August.
Okay.
Yeah, in New
Uh,
Orleans.
ugh, I gotta go. I'm going to spread out all 12 cards. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through month by month, kind of the ebbs and flows of the year. And you can take notes if you want. You can just listen and be present. I'm going to take pictures of all the cards for you. And I'm also going to write you little descriptions of every month so you don't feel like you have to do homework while we're here. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You can be present, but if you want to jot something down. So we are asking Alrinthea's guides, guardians, angels, and spirit team to be with us in this room today while we are pulling cards for her. We are interested in messages for her best and highest good as we move through the year, starting on May 1st. Okay. All right, you tell me when to stop.
And stop.
Okay, we're starting May 1st with the Eight of Coins. Here we go. We've got a dashing gentleman sitting here, and he is working on his bank account. If you can I'd like to get him in focus here for you.
he is essentially building with his wealth. The interesting thing about this card to me is talking about you being a dreamer. This feels almost like a future legacy building. And I
Mm,
love that spring is this time where we get to plant seeds and where we get to think about our growth. And so this to me is almost like a sign from spirit that while we're in dream mode, while we're creative, while you're writing, that we also want to spend time on our finances. And we
mhm,
want to cultivate them and think about them and dream about money in the same energy and the same vein that we give our creative work. You know,
mhm.
we set aside time every week to write. I know you're a very dedicated writer. We need to set time aside to dream about our legacy and what we want to do and what wealth could do. And so this card to me is giving the feels of May being almost like it's interesting because he's almost like pinning these finances on a I'm getting the visual of like somebody sticking a pin in a bulletin board.
Mm,
Like I wonder if it's a perhaps a practice to be pinning or putting something up or looking at something. Like this gesture is coming through really strongly about
mm.
maybe something you could do in your apartment that can kind of remind you to make space for the financial side of things.
Interesting. You know what's interesting about that is I just had a meeting about a job, a writing job,
Mm-hmm.
and sitting in the room, this is my first time having a meeting like this in person.
Yeah.
They have a big bulletin board full of
Mm,
cards,
okay.
and the cards are like all the storylines that are coming for
Sure.
the next season, and I feel like there was like when I was sitting there waiting for everything to start, like I couldn't stop looking at them. And it could be because I just love organization.
Yeah.
But like that was something that stood out to me. And so I don't know if that has any connection with it. But a job,
I
finances, you know.
yeah. I'm going to sit with that for a second because I got a kind of a shiver when you said the board with all the imagery and like, I don't know if it's something where you could perhaps, do you have like a bulletin board?
I don't, but I want one.
Okay. Well, I don't want to give you homework, but even I'm sure you have note cards or post-it notes. I like this idea of it like being in a line. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like kind of being organized.
Hmm.
I think more is going to come through, but I feel like that was like really a nice gateway to like what the year is going to bring and what Spirit's going to offer.
Interesting. Uh,
Okay, so we're going to move on to June. Ooh, another money card. This time it's the 10 of coins. This is kind of a familial card. You can see there's a couple in the back. There's a couple of
hmm.
generations of people. There's a little one, there's an older person, there's dogs. There's a lot of coins happening. We're in kind of a beautiful estate. There's a lot of kind of structures and buildings, which actually we don't see a lot in the tarot. They're more kind of nature cards. And then we also have these beautiful grapes that are coming through. And that to me is kind of like the coming to fruition of something, right? They're not seeds. We're getting the harvest. And the 10 of coins, I would say June, if you're looking for a job, that this is setting you up for this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we're
Yeah.
starting to build, we're starting to think, we're starting to move forward. And this feels like a very sure financial success in some capacity. I don't know if we're even starting the job in June or if there's a timeline, but June is feeling like a heavy like success in that space, especially
Right.
coming off of May of like planning, plotting, putting things together.
Well, if I get this job, it starts right after Memorial Day.
Okay, perfect. Well, there you
So
go.
there's
Well,
that.
that's feeling good. And I will also say if this job feels like you want the job, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
I do very much.
Do we have are we doing any magic around the job? Have we thought about maybe making an altar or having an ancestor's picture to help guide you? You know,
Mm.
I like the bringing in of items and things to kind of enhance the magic and enhance the energy. There's a really cool there's a Monroe Study Institute that was released by the CIA pretty recently, and they study the brain. They studied the CIA was really interested in psychics for a while we were going through all the Cold War stuff. And they invested a lot of money actually in mediumship and psychic abilities. And one
Mm.
of the things that they released for the public is, and something I've written about, is the 17-second rule, where when your mind can focus on something for 17 seconds, which doesn't seem like that long of a time, but really when you're counting it out, it's quite, you have to really be focused, right?
Right.
Um, it's a way to kind of amplify and bring something into existence. And their study shows that if you can do this practice, that you'll start to magnetize things. So if this job is something you're wanting to magnetize, I would offer either creating a little space in your home that, like, every time you look at it, reminds you of the job. It could even be a vase of flowers. I love the idea of asking ancestors for help. So if there's somebody in your lineage that like to rely on or talk to, it could even be a candle that you light only for this
Mm.
specific purpose. But having a little bit of like whimsy around it actually lifts your frequency, gives you a lot of joy, and helps you kind of bring things in faster.
Mm.
So
That's
those are
so
my wish
helpful.
job tips for you.
Yeah, because I think like what I know about manifestation is just kind of sitting and wanting it, or
Yes,
picturing
yeah.
it and receiving it. But I'm a practical person in that I need like something to touch and to look at and to envision, and so that makes sense.
Well, and this just popped into my head. I know that you're such a lover of music. The thing that people get wrong about manifestation is that they think if they think it and they want it, it'll just come. And what we have
Mm.
to do is kind of trick our bodies into feeling like a higher frequency. That's when kind of those receptors go out into the universe. And so when we're feeling really good, like we're in nature, we're having a great hair day, we're listening to a song we love, where we're like up, 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 that's when we want to try to manifest. If we're just
Mm.
sitting in our house looking at a post-it note that says, like, get a job, that's not making you feel anything. And
Right.
so I think when we can emotionally attach an ancestor, the joy it feels like to connect to them through the veil, or, playing a song that you love and like really feeling into that. I used to do a lot of meditations to like Nicki Minaj to kind of like align myself in like do you know what I mean? Like a fun,
Yeah.
like energetic, juicy way. And so
Right.
and I have a feeling as we go through the cards, we're going to get more ideas for you about kind of how to do this.
Yeah. I like that.
So I'm
And the
loving,
17 seconds thing,
yes.
what could you explain more about that? Is that
Yeah.
just like focusing for 17 seconds?
What I would recommend is taking 3 deep breaths, centering yourself, kind of calming yourself like you would in a meditation. And then what I would do is almost put yourself in a meditation where you're visualizing whatever the thing is having already happened. And again, having it feel joyful. So listening to a song you love while you're doing this. Or I like to bed meditate where I'm just laying very comfortably in bed, half asleep. Because that brings me a lot of joy. But things that make you, we don't want to be like stagnant. We want to be up.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I can
That makes
send
sense.
you, I'll send you the article about the 17 seconds. And they say if you can get to 48 seconds, then, your chances are, exponentially more. And it's the article I had my husband print the other day and he's like, "Oh my God, Aaron, what is this?" And it's like a CIA document that's like written by an American army officer. And he's just like, it's so funny to read this officer try to explain like manifesting in his like document for the government. Because when the government gets a hold of like woo woo stuff, they have like the weirdest names for things. They call psychics like psionic assets, and they become like missiles and stuff. So anyway, but I'll send you more. I can send you more information about it.
Okay. Yeah, great.
So interesting. Alrinthea, so many coin cards. Another one, 7. This is a
Whoa.
this is a person who is looking at their bounty. Looking at their bounty. Look at that. So coming through with money in June, and then in July, we're kind of just, that feeling when you're sitting in the garden, you're just kind of enjoying the flowers, enjoying the breeze,
Mhm.
enjoying kind of the labor of your work. It's just
Yeah.
look at he's got his little hoe in his hand, and he's just gazing out at all that money that's growing.
Wow. I can
So
feel that. I feel it.
yeah, I'm just like shocked we're getting like money, money, money. It's like very interesting.
Yeah. And money's such a big thing for me. Not that I need all of it or want all of it. It's just like I've experienced some, I guess, like financial trauma in the past of like losing everything and getting everything back and then losing it again. And
Yeah.
I think I'm at the end of like my current phase of like losing it.
Mm,
Like I haven't worked in a very long time. The job market in Hollywood is very bad.
yeah.
And so for someone who is very sensitive to not having money, that's been a really hard thing for me. Is like enjoying the freedom that this like career has given me, money wise, and then to have it kind of taken away for a little bit
Mm,
has been really stressful. And so, you know, I'm not surprised that that would be like the windfall is coming at the end of the waiting period. Whatever
mm,
that windfall means, you
mm.
know.
I also just love his kind of face in this card of him feeling so content. Like you can, when I take a picture, you can kind of see too. But
Mhm.
there's just kind of like a calmness to it, and I'm liking that for you. Who doesn't want to be calm and just kind of grateful? It feels like gratitude is a big practice for July.
Right. And planting means a lot to me too. I mean, my dad is a planter and I have plants, that I just kind of sit and look at for a while. And so like the growing season is very kind of ingrained in me and
Mm.
seeing the literal and like I guess the philosophical fruits of your labor coming out.
Yeah, and how synchronistic that that's the card for July. That feels very like that's when it's in blossom.
Hmm.
Like that feels very in alignment. August, the King of Cups. You're pulling a lot of men too, which is interesting. A lot of masculine
Interesting.
energy. So this is a fella who is, I love him. He's sitting on I don't know if you can see, he's sitting on an island amongst the water. The cups
Oh,
always kind of flirt with imagery of water because obviously the cups are water bearers. And so there's often, fish and things around. And it's interesting. This card is feeling to me like some kind of masculine thing is going to challenge you in August. Like you're going to be kind of confronted with something in the emotional realm of power that's going to kind of give you an opportunity to reflect on your own. So this doesn't necessarily mean, something negative. It's just that you're almost going to be shown either like a boss or maybe a new producer or somebody who's going to kind of trigger you in a weird way. And you're almost having to navigate the feeling of what this means. And I can see almost the universe kind of lining you up and then giving you this as an opportunity to kind of more deeply reflect on how you're going to fill your cup. So, what I would say for August, and the note that I'll write to you when I do our little recap, is that this is the card where you reflect on what fills your cup and to not be distracted by powerful men or people who have jobs you want or, those bosses that might have different ideologies than you, to focus on your own center, your own cup as a way to fulfill.
I'm receiving it. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Huh.
Yeah. Any questions about August before we go on?
No, I think it's also very clear to me. Like it makes sense.
Yeah. It feels confronting in a way, but also in a way that's for growth and for like the focus to still be on you. Like I think
Mhm.
you're going to be distracted by it at first, but then you're going to be like, "Oh yeah, wait a minute. This is just that and focus on me."
Right, right. And that's not as easy as it sounds for me. Anyway, like I am built to take care of other people, and so it's very
Mm,
difficult for me to center myself. I feel like very selfish. I feel very annoying if I'm just like bringing the focus to me in any
mm,
situation.
interesting.
I would rather be on the outside and have influence than be like the center of attention. Uh, for yeah, it's hard to
Interesting.
explain, but
Yeah.
that's what's coming through for me.
Yeah. No, I feel that. Curious to see what the next card is going to be for you. September. The Hierophant. Interesting. So this is one of our major arcana cards. As you can see, he looks kind of like a priest sitting on his throne. Another man card. I can't believe we're pulling all these men for you. We've got kind of two men below him that are kind of praying, paying homage. And then I'm kind of liking these little double keys at the bottom that are kind of forming this pretty cross. So
Yeah.
in tarot, we have our minor arcana cards, your suits, your coins, your cups, and then we have our major arcana cards. Those indicate like a chapter in our life. So when we pull one of those, this it feels almost like a greater arc of or like as a writer, like a theme. It's not just a
Mm.
chapter, it might be something that goes throughout the year, might be something that just starts in September, but it's allowing you to kind of hold on to something as like an arc for the year. And it's interesting, this card is kind of about our relationship to the church and our kind of rediscovery of our spiritual selves.
Mm.
So it's kind of seeing this Hierophant character as this bridge between traditional religion and spirituality and allowing ourselves to kind of sink deeper into the magic and kind of release some of the traditional narratives we hold.
Mm.
So I'm curious, did you grow up with any specific kind of religious following?
I mean, I grew up Baptist, and I guess like culturally Baptist, but I grew up in a kind of a different situation where I grew up overseas. I grew up in the military, and so I did not grow up.
You grew up in the military? Did we ever talk about this?
I don't know, maybe.
I'm an army brat too. I'm an army brat.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. No, we've never.
Where
I
overseas were
never.
you?
I always forget that. I'm like, oh, I just never brought it up. I grew up in Germany,
Okay.
in southern Germany, and so I have a drastically different life than the rest of like my family that's back home,
Mm,
and that not necessarily that I've like lived any better or worse, but the spiritual side was always just different. I feel like I got like it wasn't like a weekly practice for me to go to church, but I was very aware of like the lessons and the parables and
yeah.
the tenets of Christianity. And I don't know, being able to really kind of see it from the spiritual side and not so much on the no the ritual side,
Yeah.
the prescribed ritual side,
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed I'm curious and I can't wait to circle back with you in September and kind of see it feels like an unlocking of something. And
Mm.
it's interesting too because knowing you as a storyteller, Christianity or whatever sect you want to kind of dive into, these stories are really rich, right? And they've obviously survived for so many eons, I think, because some of them are continue to be so powerful and resonate in certain ways. And so I really, yeah, I feel like there's going to be some kind of I'm seeing the visualization of like a bridge for you of like understanding and connecting maybe these two things from your past and your present that like are kind of working in alignment together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting, the two keys. Yeah, and they're kind of almost bridging each other.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm going back to basics. Like maybe I'm finding the parts of myself and the parts of my ancestors that weren't
Mm,
necessarily strictly Christian based because, one of the things that we know for sure is that when people were brought to the country as slaves, their personal religious practices and beliefs um, were kind of taken away from them. And I
yeah.
think a lot of people like me are rediscovering like what could have been,
Yes.
like, what would have been our destiny. Like our destiny was
Mm,
it was to be here, or I wouldn't be the person that's sitting in front of you today. But
mm,
there's still like the fingers of the past that are reaching out to say
mm.
like, don't forget our story as well.
Ooh!
You know?
Why am I gonna cry? The fingers of the past reaching out. Oh
Yeah.
my God, wow. Oh, I love that. There's something very rich there. And
Mhm.
that's a theme. And I will also share my friend Atima Louie. She's a tarot expert, a tarot educator. And one of the things that I've learned from her is, to your point, when people came over and were slaves, they couldn't hold on to some of their beliefs or traditions, and pulling cards was one of them. And so one of her real purposes and callings in life is to teach Black people tarot and to go back to the cards and to kind of, unleash their divinity. And she's kind of and I wanted to bring her up because she's kind of living that in a lot of ways of kind of
Mhm.
sharing that and speaking that. So I'll link her in the show notes below. People can follow her. She did my tarot spread for the year.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So we love a team, a friend of the show. Ooh, big September.
Yeah.
As we move into the fall, Alrinthea, the Three of Cups, my favorite card.
Yeah.
This finally, the women have come. It's three women. They're celebrating. They're drinking wine. They're in the garden. The vines are flowing. The joy is happening. It's raucous is the words that's coming to mind. There's also pumpkins on the ground. Again, being perfect synchronicity with October. It's feeling like a celebration and it feels multi generational. It feels like a gathering. It feels like maybe a homecoming for you. But I'm feeling a lot of warmth, a lot of love, and being with women, being with family for October
Mhm.
is going to be an important piece, but also just like something that's going to bring a lot of joy.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any plans yet for returning.
No, no.
But if you were going to get
But
that calendar out, I would say October would be a nice time.
to reconnect with just
South Carolina,
people.
yeah. Are your
Yeah.
parents still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think that's a lovely time to go and it's cool
Hmm.
when you can sit around the table and you know what I mean? Like that kind of just relaxing energy.
Right. Right. The heat kind of lets go of you at that point. Like the heat of the summer lessens a little bit. And so you can kind of like enjoy being outside.
Also, I'm feeling like there's these two cars are connected in some capacity. Like something is going to lead you here. Like we
Mm.
have, the Hierophant, which is like, giving you, as you said, like that kind of those fingers of the past. And I could almost see it where like you might be going home to like interview, your mother or something. Like there's something that's connected about these two things where they're related,
Mm.
where you're needing to physically go to that place, to be in that joy, to be in that space, even if kind of revisiting a past version of yourself or trying to get research. Like it feels like that those are related.
Mm. Yeah, I can see that very clearly. um, just from an artistic sense of like, the story that I'm currently working on, I've been wanting to go home to kind of be back in that atmosphere to kind of help me
Yeah,
like bring this story forth. And so that
sure.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like October is going to be your opportunity to do that.
Hmm.
Let's move into November, shall we?
Do it.
I love the tarot so much. Okay, we've got the Temperance card, which is when I pull the Temperance, it's a beautiful angel. Again, it's one of our major arcana cards. She's
Mm.
got 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot in the water. She's got those cups in her hand. She's pouring them in. She's got the beautiful sun at her back. She's got a bunch of irises in the front of her. And it's so fascinating because this card, Alrinthea, is also known as the artist card.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
When we think of artist, so in some decks, they don't give you a temperance card, they give you an artist card. So this is really interesting coming after kind of whatever happens in September with kind of this connecting, this bridging, and then we're finding joy in October, and then November is stepping into it in an extraordinary way. Like we are committing, we are moving forward. Like I feel like it is like writing or work related, but I'm feeling like it's on your lineage, on your path, like one of your projects. And that November is going to be an absolute pivotal. It doesn't feel like a month of creation so much as coming together. Meaning like maybe you're finding that producer, or maybe you're finding that perfect thing, or maybe like this, it feels very like November feels very divine for whatever is in the mix.
Interesting. Okay. I'm receiving it.
You look worried. Why are you worried?
It could be just like my tendency if something good happens to always wait for the other
Mm,
shoe to drop too.
yes,
And
interesting.
so if I'm already set up to think that way, I'm going to see it in different
And then
things, right?
so I was just thinking about this earlier today, and I'm glad you brought it up. So I was in the shower, the bath, or something yesterday, and I'm kind of meditating in the bath, and I'm thinking about, Beltane being today, and I'm having some neighbors over. I'm going to do a big bonfire, and I'm asking my guides, what should I do for the fire? What should I do? Like, is there any spells or rituals, they want me to get up to? And the first thing I see are all these fairy wings on fire. And I go, rut-row. And they're kind of circling me. And my immediate reaction was, oh my God, I got to get out of this meditation. This is bad. This is a negative visual, right? And then the other part of my brain, my higher self perhaps, kicked in and said, no, wait, sit with it. What are they really showing you? And so then I said, okay, let me surrender the witch wound, that negative part of us that's kind of waiting for that negative thing to come through. And I
Mm-hmm.
sat with it. And then my guide was like, no, like, watch, we're going to burn. I'm working on a manuscript. We're going to burn the first chapter. You're going to offer it to the fire to let it go and to surrender it. And we're going to handle it from here. And I thought, well, that's lovely. And that's better than the fairy wings on fire. But I think to your point, we get this stress and this feeling of, well, what's the bad thing of this?
Mm-hmm.
And so we do have to like kind of be mindful or thoughtful. So
Right.
I'm feeling that you're the angel in this card, that you're gonna be in that balance of those coins or those cups. And I see you taking that cup from your family and pouring it into whatever you're doing, and that there being this really divine process between what you're making. And I see some kind of big, I don't really know how things get made these days, but like either a big studio or a big, like that feels big.
Right.
So that we'll leave that there.
Okay. I'm with you.
Ah, the Six of Cups, cups and coins. Have we gotten any? We have no wands. We've got no swords. So interesting. Okay, so December is our Six of Cups, and this is kind of a beautiful card, a whimsical card of these two children who are holding these cups in their hands, and they are kind of checking out the flowers. They look like to be perhaps poinsettias, actually, which is funny because December is our poinsettias. And this to me in December feels like some kind of relationship or connection or friendship or these two figures and this childlike sense feels almost
Mm.
like we're welcoming a new relationship. And it doesn't have to be
Oh,
romantic. It could be a friendship, but it's almost like somebody's going to see you for your like childhood whimsy. You know what
that's
I
all
mean?
I've ever wanted. That's all I've always seen that way, you know. I always
Yeah.
like afraid that I look like I'm too serious, even though I'm
Mm.
not, you know.
I know you're a Muppet gal.
I am. I love that. And I love like those specific flowers. Like I love that poinsettias, not only just because it's like December, but like poinsettias are, they're beautiful, but they're poison, you
Mm.
know. Whereas honeysuckles are also beautiful. They smell really good. And as far as I know, I don't think that they are. So, are poisonous. So I don't know. I'm stuck on those flowers too.
Mm. Interesting. Well, maybe that's related to something. Maybe you're going to bring on somebody to help with, that kind of project and that has that kind of details, and that it feels like maybe that's connected.
Yeah, yeah. Or it could just mean someone's finally gonna buy me flowers. That's not me, you know?
There you go. It feels very safe though, whatever we're
Yeah.
welcoming. Like it and it also feels very like you've known the person for many lifetimes.
Mm. Like a soulmate. It could be like a romantic or non-romantic
Yeah, it's the
soulmate.
soulmate. And I
Hmm.
like that we're entering the winter, if I were writing your little notes of like what to look for in the year, that like December is the feeling of like finding the people that like see you. And what a
Right.
kind of nice offering from spirit that like we're getting into that like warmth of, kind of connection even though we're stepping into winter. Like that's kind of a
Mm.
nice juxtaposition that we're thinking about human connection and warmth, especially coming off of your big like fall for you is going to be so transformative, it feels. So this is kind of
Mm.
like almost re-regulating us in December to relationships.
Mm.
And that's why
I
I
love
love
it.
these tarot spreads for the year ahead because it gives us that like arc. Do you know what I mean? Not every
Right.
month is supposed to be like we're so conditioned to think every month is, go, go, hustle, boom. And some months are really just kind of this softness to it. So that's what December
Mm.
feels like for relationships.
I love it. And I'm ready for it. That's the message that's coming through for me is that I'm ready for on the romantic side, I'm ready for something deeper, something real to come. And on the
Yeah.
friendship side, maybe the same, but the romantic part is what's kind of like poking me more.
Yeah, and I remember I did a reading for you way back in the day and you had some grandparents I think come through and really wanted you to find a boyfriend, right? Wasn't that their reading?
Yeah, I think it was like they wanted me to find somebody that would like love me and take care of me.
Yeah. They were very
Hmm.
on the relationship track.
Hmm.
And I wonder if there's a way in December, I might like go back to that reading if you have it saved somewhere, or I can dig it up for you and like sit with the feeling of that.
Right.
And that might be something where, asking the ancestors to bring in too if we want help from it. Because they seem like ready and available and like that things were kind of moving in that space.
Mm.
Did any relationship come after that reading?
No, not
Not in a
anything.
serious way.
No, not anything of note. A couple of false starts, but that I
Yeah.
don't want to say that's to be expected, but that's what happened.
Okay. I almost feel like there's something veiled there, but they're not telling me what it is. So there's something for you to unpack and discover through this year. But
Mm.
I think there's more to this story that's going to come through. Curious to see what the next card is. January, we've got our page of coins. I don't think I've ever picked this card before. Another man, another coin.
I'll take them.
Okay, he is looking pretty content. He looks, pretty formally dressed for our page. These are our messenger cards. So when we get a page, it's like I always think of like a messenger boy or somebody delivering a letter or a piece of information. He's carrying a piece of a coin. I almost
Mhm.
feel like this is gonna come as a surprise. So something you're not expecting to make money from, something that's not related to anything, you're gonna receive money. Yeah, and it also feels kind of unemotionally attached. Like it's not real estate. I don't, it feels very random, like something that's not related to work, but just you're going to get a check from something for somewhere. You know what I mean?
It's I feel like the message I keep getting is like be open to receive something,
Mm.
to receiving more. Like it's coming.
Be open to receiving more. That's a good mantra.
Yeah. Like just open your heart and it's coming in.
Yeah, something that I practice with my ancestors too is like, we don't know like visually, we can't like put our hands on like the unlocked karma that we might have accumulated. And
Mhm.
sometimes, like, I have a belief that if you don't ask for it, for that kind of unlocking of information or things or inspiration, or if you don't expect it, they're not going to come to you. Like I did a reading for my brother. He moved into this new house, and I wanted to do like this energy thing for him, kind of clearing the space and giving him some messages from the home. And the one message that I got from one of his guides is like, you have so much money waiting for you, but you haven't asked for it and you're not expecting it.
Mm.
And so it's just sitting here. Ask for the money. And so I shared with him the reading. And then 2 months later, he got a $10,000 grant for this art project that he was working on.
Wow.
So, in my mind, I'm like, well, the dots were connected. Like, we need to, if there's, karmic energy that we're not asking for. So
Mhm.
that's, why I tell people all the time, like, ask your guides, ask your ancestors, keep asking and expecting to receive
Mm.
and
Okay.
see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the expecting to receive part that I need to learn
Mm.
or accept.
Well, I think that's, that can be kind of a slow mosey too. Like, why don't
Mhm.
we ask for, like, I know they want you to kind of have that bulletin board, right? Going back to our first card of like what we want. So maybe it's just like piecing that together first. It's
Mm.
a relationship with our ancestors, with signs, with whatever. It's the same as anything else. Like we have to learn to trust it before we're gonna like shoot for the moon.
Right.
So it feels right to kind of ease into something like that.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. I like it.
But don't be afraid to ask. I guess that's what we want to land on.
Hmm. And that's something else I struggle with too, is just asking for not help, asking for help and asking for assistance or asking for any sort of like support. I'm used to saying, I want this, and so I'm gonna work myself to the bone
Mm.
to get it instead of like simply asking for it.
Yeah. Our narratives with money are wild and crazy.
Hmm.
I totally hear you. I think it's very difficult to break what we have been expected to know and to receive. And we're kind of in a new world in a lot of ways. So the rules aren't the same as they were when we were kids learning them.
Right.
But unexpected money coming in January. So we'll take it. That's a good
Yeah.
messenger. Oh, finally we got a wand card. We got the 6 of Wands. The wands are our creative cards. There are magic cards. It's almost like a witch, wielding a wand or a pen or, something that we create with. It's interesting. This February feels like an announcement, like some
Mm.
kind of. These cards feel related to me in some way, wherein maybe in November something's going to become solidified with either like a partner or a piece of the puzzle for the job
Mm.
and job relation or like a project relation. And then February, we're announcing it. So it
Mm.
feels like a big announcement.
I love that. I love the anticipation of that.
It also feels like it's an announcement, and you can see he's got his like full completed wreath here among the wands, but these
Mhm.
are speaking to me too, these little buds, which makes me feel like whatever this project is going to be evergreen in some way. So you're
Mm.
announcing something and maybe it's 6 seasons, or you're announcing something and maybe it's 6 iterations of it. Like, but it feels like a piece of a whole.
Right.
Like that's going to keep going. It's going to be more ongoing, more steady, more stable. And I like kind of our horse here too is kind of this very grounded, earthy
Mm.
anchor.
I love that.
Ready to go, ready for March, April. That'll bring us all the way around.
Let's do it.
Okay. March. Oh, we've got the Fool. The Fool is one of our major arcana cards. The Fool is an androgynous figure who is using their faith, their excitement, their lust for life that has just kind of inspired them to kind of move through the universe. And the reason that this card resonates so deeply is it's about kind of letting go of expectation and
Mm.
expecting the universe to catch you. So you'll see he's kind of walking off this cliff with like not a care in the world. You know, he has only but his little mini satchel that he's got on his rucksack. The animals are nipping at his feet, and there's such a joy to this card of just letting go and surrendering to the process. And I love that
Mm.
this is coming right after your announcement card because it feels like whatever goes on for February is kind of sending us through to just like being in flow of whatever this thing is.
Mm.
So March is feeling like in super alignment.
I love the sun rays that are coming. Are those like sun rays that are behind
Yeah,
him?
yeah. It's a really hopeful card, I will say.
Hmm.
And it also feels like, you know, when you're like on a lazy river and you're just like flowing down the river?
Hmm. I'm
That's what
picturing
this
it.
that's what this card is giving me. Just like being in flow, being in surrender, going with it,
Mm.
and just feeling a lot of trust and faith in yourself.
Right.
And also, as we're looking at this lineup, January is giving me, I'm going back to our coin card,
Hmm.
our messenger with the money. And I don't like this card anymore. I've turned on this card because I feel like often in my relationship with spirit that we have these kind of sticky chapters before something big happens.
Hmm.
And so I still think that there's going to be some kind of money that comes in January. I'm still standing by that, but what I'll write in your notes is that we're going to keep our eyes open in January. And I want
Mm.
us to not get, like, I want us to know that in February, we're announcing
Right.
whatever it is. Even if you don't know what it is or you don't have confirmation and you have to kind of take a leap of faith, I don't want us to be sidetracked in January. I feel like a test is coming in January in the same way that I felt it in August with kind of whoever this guy was.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's just there's something sticky about this card that I want us to just keep our eyes on it.
Hmm. It's basically, it feels like a natural cycle, peaks and valleys, that sort of
Of
thing.
course, yes.
Yeah.
And also, I find before they really, the universe, you know, she'll send you some tests. You know, you want to make money, you know, great. They're going to send you somebody who's going to ask for a discount first. They're going to see what your
Mhm.
boundaries are. They're going to
Right.
test you. You know, are you going to take it or are you going to stand by what you feel like you're worth? So I feel like there's always kind of this pull a little bit to get us to evolve. And I do feel like they send us tests to kind of see how we roll.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, last card of the 12 spread. Ooh, we finally got a sword card. We got the 5 of Swords. This is a
Mhm.
gentleman who is holding 2 swords in his hand. He's got one in front of him, he's got two on the ground, he's got kind of some gentlemen behind him. We've got a bit of an overcast scene here, and we're at the water. There's a lot of movement to this card. And this is really our funny coming from our March beforehand is if in March we're going, oh, we're going to leave it all to chance and we're going to leave it all to God and we're living our life. April is our reminder not to take on too much because we've got too many
Mm,
swords in our hands and we can't carry 5 swords. That's too many swords for one person.
right.
So April's message is just to be thoughtful about what we're saying yes to. And I would
Mm,
think after kind of the announcement and the Fool, we're feeling a lot of good vibes, a lot of good momentum. But this is
hmm.
just a reminder, just don't take on too much.
Keep your wits around about you then.
Well, and don't not in like a negative way, but like we can't do everything.
Hmm.
You might want to do everything. If somebody called and said, "We want you to do these 10 projects," you probably want to say yes.
Yeah, immediately. I wouldn't even ask what they were. And
I
you'd be like,
like
oh, a job? Okay.
Yeah, and I like this number 5 too. That feels kind of specific for you in some capacity. Like I don't know if it's like in your on your board of things you're working on, you have like 5 things,
Mm-hmm.
but let's not exceed those things or those
All right.
projects. Like let's stick to what we have. Don't overload.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Don't overload. Don't be overwhelmed.
Mm. Could it be part of that? It's like too much of a good thing
Yes, absolutely.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. I'm receiving it. I've received it.
Yeah.
Downloaded it.
I'm excited for you, though. I feel like you have such an exciting year ahead, and it seems like a lot of fun transformations are coming through.
Yeah, I think I'm like just waiting and waiting. And I think the excitement, in good and bad ways, is coming just to kind of help me stretch a little bit more.
Hmm. I would also I'm getting this visual of you having like a golden coin in your pocket and like keeping it
Mm.
in your pocket and like rubbing it for luck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just you have such a deep relationship to the pentacles. There's something very tangible there. I just think there's something maybe to explore.
Like just something like a physical thing I could kind of use to bring me back to center or remember where I am in the cycles and all that. You're thinking,
Yeah. And yeah, and to remind you that like you have the coins in your pocket already.
mm,
I like that.
I like that too.
Look, it's already in my pocket.
I
Woo!
love it. Look at that. Shivers.
Amazing. Orinthia, thank you so much for letting me read your cards and go through everything. I had such a ball chatting with you.
Yay. Thank you for doing this for me. This is
Yeah.
helpful. It really is. So this is great.
You'll have to report back.
I will.
Maybe we'll have you on next April and we'll go through my predictions.
Hey, let's do it.
Under the Moongate is produced and hosted by me, Erin Bagwell, with music by Sal Mastercola. Want to unlock your intuition? Join me on Substack at underthemoongate.substack.com for free. Or for just $5 a month, you'll receive an all-access pass to magic lessons, a channeled video reading for the month ahead, and full access to my library of bonus podcast episodes and spiritual workshops. To book a personal reading with me, visit underthemoongate.com or email thebuffalomedium@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. If this episode resonated, leave a review, share it with a friend, or pass it along to your favorite tree. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, in the garden.